This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
I'll just turn that way down because last time it was pretty loud and we couldn't hear ourselves.
What?
Yeah. Wait, can I hear you? Are you there?
Yeah. What? You got me muted again?
How are there already like 7 people in here? You guys are so excited to hang out with us. Thanks, 7 people. Appreciate it. Jarrett, see you in there. Welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast, coming at you from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, out of the Okayest Hunter podcast studio, presented by the big swinging app in the woods, Spartan Forge.
Whoa.
SpartanForge.ai.
That was actually pretty good. I
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
that's pretty good. Where's it going with this one?
Don't worry. I'm just flirting
Whenever
with...
it's at 3 of us, it gets weird.
It does
quick.
real fast
Yeah.
and awkward. We should know, but we're not really that awkward about it. We're almost comfortable
Now
with
it's
it.
normal.
It's normal.
Sorry, I'm awkward, sorry. I have an awkward starter pack and also an embarrassing starter pack. If you guys are interested, I can hook you up with some of these packs with how you can be awkward and embarrassing all the time.
Is one of them start off your show with Malort?
that was
yeah.
that's an expensive one. That one will cost you.
Oh.
Wow.
I got
We're
the
looking
Malort
for
over
free,
there.
not the expensive.
Yeah. Usually it involves me going up and saying hi to someone that is not the person I thought they were, waving to people and they don't see me, and then I wave to no one, or saying things out loud and no one hears me.
I get that in the classroom a lot because the young ladies have their hair down, but everyone has earbuds when
And you
they're
don't see
working.
it, so
and
you're
you
just
don't see it,
talking.
and you're like, hey, that's looking really good. And you have a big conversation, and then everyone around them is looking at you, but they're not. And they go, oh, wait, what'd you say? Have a good day.
I'm not repeating myself, damn it. That was a lot of effort. Yeah. And I can always like hear my wife perfectly when she's in another room, and interchangeably kitchen, living room. But when she's in a room, she can never hear me. I'm like, what? But I can hear you fine.
That sounds about right.
There's like some sort of rule with that. I don't understand what is like going on in the universe.
We get
that's how it
accused of
works.
selective hearing, but I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, I think you're right. They just hide it better.
Like every time I tell
But-
her I want to go deer hunting, she doesn't hear that.
But my wife, when she
Well,
hears it
there's
or
a
watches
reason
this,
for that.
like sometimes I hear her and I just don't respond. And I pretend like I didn't hear her. Is that bad?
Nice.
Should I not say that publicly?
Well, you did it already. It's out there. Cat's out of the
Totally
bag,
normal.
buddy.
She's going to be so mad. We are brought to you by Spartan Forge. Use code OHP. But the way that works is you got to go to the website, sign up, then use the code OHP to 20% off for the year. And at that point, you can go download the app. And once you use your login credentials, boom, shakalaka, you're set to go. Derek and I were just looking at some properties.
Thank you for showing me how to use the historical maps because I did not know how to do that.
Ah,
Yep.
So
And they have a free functionality now. So you can use their app with a set limitation. At some point, you'll hit a paywall if you want to access other features. But you can go get it for free. You can also do like the free 14-day trial, I believe it is. So you can just get in there and you can start using it and seeing what it's like. Everyone I show it to is completely blown away. No one is seeing map imagery like that. My boss today at work was like, oh, wow, Onyx doesn't show that these subdivisions are being subdivided right now, or whatever the word is. It still shows them as cornfields, but they are not, which means the deer are not going there anymore. Like,
unless there's some
they
really good
are,
hostas.
but there's certain
It's
time
just
of night that
all
they are.
it's all
going there.
dirt and construction, and all you can see the construction vehicles on the property.
Mhm.
What used to be a cornfield,
That's a pretty notable difference.
yeah.
I would say.
So and then like he was showing me, look at the field here. This one is organic beans, and this one is not organic beans, and you can see the difference. So it's just impressive. I got ZMRs up here on the deer on the wall, and I lost one, not by shooting a deer
Mhm.
over the weekend.
Did
It
you-
was
you
stolen from me
lost-
by the marsh.
Did you lose a second piece of equipment as well?
My freaking thermocell
Okay.
fell out of my pack somewhere.
Did you lose one of your?
Did I
arrows that
lose
had
something?
A broadhead on.
Yeah.
Ah, that
Oh well,
really
yeah. That was the
sucks.
other something.
That really sucks.
So, but shout out to Vector Custom Shop for, making arrows that we're all going to lose someday. Like, oh yeah,
Got to keep them in business.
even if you shoot the arrows, they might be gone. So there's that. And then Latitude Outdoors got me up in the tree safely, soundly, got me down safely, soundly. Very happy to be using their system and setup and all that jazz. You had yours on. We're walking out with them on, light as a feather and quiet as not a bee, but something like that. I was trying to go for an Ali quote there. It didn't work.
No.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
I was watching your ass on the way in with the camera because I was trying to get real close to that Latitude logo. And I just was like, it just looks like I'm watching Greg's butt this whole time.
It's a pretty good size.
I got video of it. I should just put on there with like some brown chicken, brown cow music.
I think you're onto something.
I gotta be like, what are we doing here, Eric? No, this is a Latitude ad.
Did it look like two hogs fighting in a gunny sack or what?
What's with this freaking, what's going on in this video here? Yeah, I don't know.
Have you guys been using that gear strap thing?
I love it because you can raise and lower your backpack.
I have it with my saddle, and I didn't take it out yet and put it in my backpack, but I really should do that.
It's probably my favorite
It'd be even handy if you're stand hunting. To be honest,
that's what I think.
Yeah.
And Go Wild. There's a gift card coming your way from Go Wild for your birthday. The nerds over there have to do it because it's not a feature. They had the feature.
The nerds.
Yeah, the people that write the code stuff. And
says the guy videotaping another guy's butt in a saddle while walking into the woods.
Yeah, perverted.
I'm not a nerd for that. That's something else.
Yeah,
it's a different word. No, but they have. So they did have gift cards, but they got spammed, and I'm familiar with that now with our website. We're getting like false orders, which is weird. And then they took it down, but now they're rebuilding it. But in the meantime, if you want that, you can just message those guys and they can probably put some money on someone's account if you pay them. So you're going to have some birthday money on your account on Go Wild. And I thought that would be a more fun place to deal with it because they're just releasing so many products. Like even Latitude is on there now. And it wasn't like a couple months ago.
That's awesome.
So you can buy the whole saddle kit right from Go Wild. Use your code OHP. And so we have OHP on Latitude on accessories in the classic saddle right now.
Okay.
And I think it's 25% off, but it doesn't apply to anything else. But here's the loophole, right? You can go to Go Wild and buy whatever you want and use the code over there. So just like we got you covered, guys. We got all the codes. Well, actually, we have one code for all the places for all the gear. So wow, there's a lot of people in here tonight. And we have no guests tonight. Tonight, our guest is ourselves, and maybe we'll take some calls. I have the phone lines ready to get hot later.
That'd be good.
Get hot? That's not what I wanted to say. I just.
You gonna light the fire on that one?
We'll do it. I don't want to do it yet. Let's just pump the brakes on bringing people into the shit show, and let's just start it up ourselves. Let's pour some gas on the fire, and then they can come in and they can either douse it out or pour some more on. We'll see what people want to do with their torch. But
to choose your own ending.
There it is. Yeah, and it'll be a happy one.
Oh, here we go again.
Alrighty.
Everyone's like, someone's listening right now, in their car tomorrow or whatever day it is, going, why do I listen to these idiots? But Greg and I went out hunting over the weekend on Saturday. You did some hunting. You were up north
on Saturday.
You had the whole fam up north, but of course you got some time in the woods to yourself.
It's when
par for the course.
When you make the up north trip, it's part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Going to take a moment to hunt with Dad. So.
Yeah, that's good. How did your hunt go? Let's talk about yours first.
My hunt went about as I anticipated. I had high hopes because I had these two really nice bucks in a newer, to me, area of the public, and I had cameras in there all summer. I had two really nice deer, and they were kind of using this area the way that I hoped they would. So when I had scouted, I'd found a nice little knob in this clear cut where it looked like they were bedding, and they had a huge rub line coming off this little knob through this low, thick pine valley. And then onto this little oak ridge. Mm-hmm. And there's not much elevation in it, but they were really using that. And the last time I was up there, the very beginning of September, Dad and I took a walk to see if there was acorns. And there was acorns, and there was the first rub I found this year was there, and it's a pretty good one. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy shit, he's using that trail. It's just like I was hoping. And then coming up this weekend, it was like, if there's still acorns, it's going to be awesome. So I made the long walk back there. It's a ways. I had to cross this creek that's now flooded up from a beaver pond. So they dammed it up and it's all flooded. So what's normally just a quick walk through the cedars is all swamped up and it's about as high as my boots. So I had to do some cedar stump dancing and jumping and
hopping in little bogs.
I got back there and I was
hopping around all bimbly like.
I was swimming, doing the backstroke for a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
I was sweating like crazy when I got back there, and I ended up having to loop way further south to get the wind in my favor because it was supposed to be out of the northeast. But of course, once I got up there and got in the stand, dropping milkweed, it literally blew every single direction except for northeast. So I had milkweed going west, going east, going out of the south. It went every which way, and I didn't see anything.
So the wind went all kittywampus on you, and that was it. Well, but like, how are you doing physically? Like, could you handle the hunt? Like, if you weren't like winded, you weren't tripping.
I was
you didn't lose
sweating and
anything?
stopping every 5 minutes. I was dripping in sweat. I was physically not where I should have been.
I have some interesting GoPro footage that will debut at some point of a GoPro over the shoulder view, which is not even great, really, because it wasn't like really high off my shoulder, just kind of right here. So it's just kind of awkward. You get like half my neck and half of this ragweed. How tall do you think that ragweed was?
That's
Greg?
those 10 feet tall at least.
Is that same?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've been saying it
That's
was.
a real
You
shit
know the
show.
hellhole we're talking
It
about.
feels 20 feet when I'm.
Oh yeah, it's oh look at that, it's a tree.
I almost put my stand in one of those
Oh,
damn
man.
things.
But it's
You probably could
endless.
have roped a bunch of them together and put your climber right in there.
There's like no end. There's no path. And because it's not dead yet,
Yeah.
you can't just, it's not like you just break it and knock it down as you go. It's just still
And
half
when you
green.
break it, it makes a lot of noise.
Well, when it's dry and dead in another 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
That's
that
also
stuff
not
is,
great. But this
oh,
situation, it kept
chopsticks.
putting like a belt in front of me and I couldn't pass. And then it robbed my arrow and my thermocell. Dude. What? And when we went, Derek, we drank that damn canoe over like 200 yards of
I don't know what
dry land. And I remember like, why do we do this to ourselves? What are we doing? Like, my wife's mad at me that I'm hunting all the time. I'm struggling. This is miserable. But yet on the other side of it, it's fucking bliss. It's just amazing. You know how good I felt after that night?
You probably slept like a baby.
I felt amazing. I was like,
felt accomplished.
but I felt at peace with the world. I did something physical. I enjoyed nature. I sat still. I hunted. I was like, my heart pumped for a little bit when I heard something coming through. I never made it by me, but I grabbed my bow and I thought it was going to happen. Never happened. Climbed down, working my gear. I'm figuring stuff out. I'm solving problems. I'm finding my way out. Like, I tripped. My bow went flying, 5 feet in front of me. And I knocked the back of my head with my climbing sticks on my backpack. So that was like, boom, right in the back of the neck. Injury to insult, buddy. You're going down. You dropped your bow. You're face planting into the stuff. I had what's that? Stinging nettle all up on my hands and arms. You had it. You said your legs had
they
a
were
tingly feeling, and
they
it
were
wasn't
on
from
fire.
pooping.
No. wrong part of the legs, dude. I'm not a cloven hoof animal. I don't go all over myself. Come on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, lately,
It happens.
that was the other part of the story we didn't talk about yet.
Well, anyway.
We didn't get far before that
we
happened.
We don't need to talk about that.
Greg framed up as he forgot something. Yeah.
Sounds like all around we had a pretty productive
Yeah.
weekend of hunting.
We're fitting our mantra pretty well.
Yeah, we are.
Ben says you got to have a hobby. You sure do. Calder got a deer. He got a spike buck.
Nice.
Woo!
Congrats, Calder. What's up,
Yes.
dude?
Nice.
Cheers to that, buddy. You're gonna get one of these.
Okayest hunter.
Yeah.
There you go. Congrats. That's what we say to people that kill deer.
Gosh, I hope you can push that for me once this year.
Dude, just put it on repeat. Yeah. No, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It consumes our minds. I think so. I took my kids out glassing last night. Glassing, is that how we say it?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. I grabbed a pair of binoculars and I drove around some areas that I want to hunt. And of course, all the deer on private. But I did get eyes on a pretty big buck after I hung up with you,
Nice.
and a decent one while I was on the phone with you, and you heard all my chaos.
Oh yeah. That
Which-
was Dane, give me back those glasses. Get them off your neck. I need those glasses. No! Dane, I need the glasses. No! Eric takes the glasses. All hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
See what I'm dealing with here? Yep, I hear it.
I'm
in
just trying to
stereo.
look through my binoculars at these deer,
Note
and
to
my
self,
kids also. I need to bring them some binoculars.
bring
Apparently,
the toy binoculars.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Yeah,
They always
for
look
real.
through them the wrong way anyway.
for real. No, he was. Yeah, and then he's like, I don't see it. I was like, yeah, I know you don't see it because you don't know what the hell you're doing, and I can't show you because there's a car seat behind me. And then my baby's crying. My 1-year-old
You had the
just
whole crew.
all 3 of them. I was like, Holly, I'm going to take the kids. I'm like, this is gonna be fun. We're going to go look for deer, and they're going to love it. And this is how. And then it was mostly great actually until they
Until
were
he
fighting over
called
the
me.
binoculars. Yeah, literally the moment I called Greg to tell
As
him.
soon as Uncle Greg's on the phone with him, it's not good.
But see, that's like urban camouflage. I think normally a truck pulls up, that buck sees it slow down, stop, that buck takes off.
Mhm.
He heard the yelling and screaming. He's like, "There's no way that guy's hunting." Like,
Yeah.
that guy's just trying to get
But-
his life together.
that level of so then I'm calling everybody. I think I called you back again. You're probably like, why the hell is Eric calling me again? It's because I was so damn excited to solve this puzzle of like, when can I hunt? What's the wind? What's the temperature? When's the cold front coming through? Which property should I hit up? There's where the deer are. I'm like, I can't immerse myself enough, short of actually going hunting and then tripping and being miserable. And the one property I'll probably hit up has either got, we got JC in the studio here with us. He's going to fucking hate his life tomorrow. I'm sorry ahead of time. It's either going to be canary grass that's going to trip up your feet and work your hip flexors terribly bad, or it's going to be a marsh of cattails that we're going to wallow through for an obscene amount of time.
Either way, it'll be 70 degrees.
And it's going to be hot. Yeah, like get ready to
Bring
sweat.
your shorts, Jace.
I hope you don't drop a camera or something like that. I don't know. It's going to be, those are the only two options I have close to home. So why do we do this? I don't know. I can't explain it. My wife asks. She was up last night, dozing in and out of consciousness. And I'm trying to explain to her what I was explaining to you. This is where the deer bed, I think. This is what the wind. She's like, I don't care. I'm like, but you're asking me. And I want you to understand what I'm dealing with here. These are the things I'm thinking through.
Meanwhile, she's nodding off.
Oh, totally. I was like, wake up. Come on. I'm not done explaining this.
But you are right. It's like why do we do this to ourselves? Like after you punish yourself and you do something horrible and you're like itchy and like uncomfortable and dehydrated and you feel so defeated. You're like in my brain, I'm like, so next time I'm going to go with the canoe and a mountain bike.
We're going to add another level of difficulty with the mountain bike.
Can you canoe on a mountain bike?
Can you canoe on a mountain bike?
Yeah, you put the canoe on your back and drag it, and you could totally do it. If you get like one of those aluminum or what the Kevlar canoes.
Oh yeah, the super Winonas.
Yeah, you could put that on your back and ride a bike for sure.
And then you have a little flap in the canoe. So once you get to the water, you put the bike in the canoe, open the flap, rear tire goes in the water.
You could pedal.
And it's a pedal canoe.
We did talk about getting that boat from.
You're just looking at me like that is the stupidest freaking thing I've ever heard.
And now we're going to call it the riverboat gambling machine.
We've literally done none of these things. So there's all of those components. And then if you actually get a deer, it gets worse. Then you're like, and then with some of the challenging questions, I'm like, I'm pretty trigger happy right now. Like, I'm going to shoot a doe because I want to. But dragging a doe out of here is going to be terrible.
In that ragweed stuff, it would suck.
Yeah. You and I found our way through the ragweed. And by the way, where the last doe died is all nothing but ragweed.
Because it wasn't. It was nice.
Oh, no,
it was
nice and
canary
open.
grass. And good to see that ragweed.
Oh, yeah.
Doing well.
all the way to Buck Island. And
really?
I kicked deer off of Buck Island on my way
now
out.
It's surrounded by ragweed.
Oh, it's nothing but and it's ragweed in there.
Can be.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's awful. I don't know why we did that. It's too early in the season to be effing around back there.
I should have known better. I'll take the blame.
I should have been just a lazy okayest hunter and hunted I should just not gone in, and I probably actually would have had some success.
I know you would have.
And you'd been like, you should have gone deeper if I didn't see anything.
No,
and I'd have been like,
got a little,
at least I didn't get all effed up.
Little over ambitious, that's all.
I ripped my new freaking camouflage first light thing that I bought. Got a big gaping hole in it.
Ripped already?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, but I don't know how anything survived that situation, to be quite frank. So that shit ain't cheap.
What did you catch it on?
I have no idea. Who knows? I was just like,
maybe you caught it on one of your sticks.
I didn't stop. I stopped maybe once I got to a tree. Finally, I stopped. Yeah, Long Branch. Here we go. You were drinking Long Branch in the studio tonight. I didn't know it was Wild Turkey brand. But I thought, well, maybe if I get Long Branch, I won't hit a branch with my arrow. Those things show up out of nowhere when you never see them. And then you see your arrow fly a different direction and you see something wiggling that you didn't see before.
You see the deer running away going, idiot. Classic.
I went to some bar for lunch today. And they have really good food. And there was hunting shows on one TV in the whole place. And there's stuff other probably more meaningful things on TV, like maybe sports stuff. I don't know.
Less meaningful?
There's a handful of people in there.
Yeah.
Everyone was they had their backs to the TV with the deer hunting stuff on it. Everyone turned around and was watching it. I was like, well, it's hunting season in Wisconsin, clearly, because this is all we can think about. So I'm talking to some random people about deer hunting that I've never met as I'm trying to eat my lunch.
I saw a few hunters up this weekend who were out in the woods getting it. I mean, it was hot and yucky, and they were still going.
You gotta get that mic a little closer. It comes in and out.
Sounds like it keeps going.
Bring it up a little bit. No, not that much.
Too low?
Now we can hear what he's thinking.
Oh, there we go. I think that's the spot. That's where you want it. Yeah, right there. I think that'll work. Don't stick your tongue out on it. Put your tongue away.
You're not supposed to do that.
Well, and you've been we've all been writing some articles and trying to share some knowledge that we have, and we all have different aspects and levels of knowledge. Greg did a good piece on woodsmanship.
We're not looking too bright right now.
No, it's okay. I think
I'm not anyway.
Remember a month ago, me telling Eric what a great time to hunt early season
Yeah.
is? You pattern
It's
those
a great,
bucks.
great time.
I've not seen
it's
any after
not.
that.
I've
No,
not seen any.
nothing.
I saw those does. I heard maybe it was. I
But
doubt
we
it was
heard
a
all
buck.
sorts of
I don't. Who
stuff.
knows what it was? I have
There's
no
plenty
clue.
of small bucks over there. I mean, we
Is it-
know we're running some cameras there, and
Probably a
We,
raccoon.
you are running
Whatever.
a camera,
It's
and
fine.
know what's
team
going on.
effort.
I'm, so it's funny because last year I was probably more scouted up better. I knew what properties I was hunting. I
Mhm.
had a cell cam, and I had some like intel. And I was talking to other people at the property, and they were showing me their stuff, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, this is looking pretty interesting," And my gear was not really great. It was the first time I was hunting out of the saddle and all that jazz. And this year, my gear is probably a little bit more squared away, but I have no clue
Yeah,
where to
you said
hunt.
you're setting up, and your whole system for climbing has been going well, right?
Yeah,
You like
yeah,
it?
it's a bit smoother for sure. I'm pretty happy with it.
I think we get a few more weeks of cold weather, which it's shaping up to be that way. Things start to die off. Sign's going to start opening up a little more than what it is. You're going to be able to hunt your way into a place a lot better and find scrapes and find rubs and go, you know what? I feel very confident in the fact that there's scrapes and rubs in this area.
Yep.
I'm going to be able to pick a tree and go with it. It's a 50-50 chance. Most of the time you're going to be right. I think once you hit mid-October on.
Yeah, well, mid-October is the alleged October lull that I think has been debunked several times.
Multiple
blah, blah,
times.
blah. There's just a lot of change happening. Like, what do you guys
Mhm.
think's going on with that? Like, what is it? And by the way, before I ask that question, I should back up further. The interesting thing about the cold front that's coming through is we're all thinking the same thing. We need to hunt this cold front. So what do you think that's going to do? Deer movement's going to spike. HuntWise says go hunt. Spartan Forge says go hunt. Like everyone says go hunt. You can read a bunch of articles about going to hunt on cold fronts. Deer movement goes up, blah, 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 blah. But so does hunting pressure. So then the dynamic changes. Like what you gain here, you lose there. And it's just like a whack-a-mole scenario because now you got every Tom, Dick, and Harry rushing out to the woods for the cold front. And so my thought is if I can hit it up in the middle of the week somehow, maybe it'll be less crowded than if it's like this Saturday is going to be a busy time in the woods. And by the way, when is the youth hunt in our state?
This weekend.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck out there, folks.
It's still going to be better than the first week of November.
Well, is it though? Because the rut is starting to pop off then.
Yes, but everybody starts hunting.
Everybody's hunting in November.
1,
And the
everyone comes to
bucks
the
that
woods.
were somewhat patternable are no longer patternable. They're off in the wind. They're looking for does to breed because some of the earlier does have already been bred right around Halloween, and the bucks kind of have some of them locked down.
Okay,
and then they're off and moving after they're done breeding does. They're looking for more.
And I'm just meaning like hunting pressure. Like
That too.
more people are going to come to the woods, but there's still a lot of people who don't hunt in October, especially the first part of October. There's just people who will start on Halloween or the 25th, and they just won't go before then. So I think hunting pressure wise, it's still not going to be as bad.
Halloween's been a traditionally good weekend for me in years past. Like I've usually seen that, but then my dad is a big advocate for like the second week of November, and that's when he's traditionally killed like all of his deer. And I think last year I hunted the first week and thinking that was rut and took time off for it. And I was actually one of the first times ever I took like a bunch of days off to hunt the rut. And I had the 140 or whatever, and at least that's what we think it is. I don't know, come through, and that counts as like that would have been it, And then I saw that buck breeding that doe later that same day, and
That's cool.
That's a decent time. But then I hear more favor for the second week. I don't know how you like plan this stuff, and I realized, by the way, I don't have the phone number hooked up right now, so you can't call into the show right now. I'm sorry, folks. It's just us tonight.
Our own shit show.
Yeah, that's all right.
I could do it, but then you'll have to hear me like dialing into our stuff, and it's kind of awkward.
Can still chime in on.
You can comment. Yeah, chime in on the chat. Chime in the chat. We got people hanging out here. Sounds like the making of an adventure race. Cycle across meets canoe. Oh yeah, they're talking about your bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great idea.
We have bad drought. We have a bad drought in New Hampshire, and he's concerned that finding deer will be very difficult.
Yeah, there's a lot of places having issues with dry conditions, and then EHD affecting their herd. I don't know if New Hampshire's having that issue, but we know Ohio, we know parts of Indiana, central Illinois is getting it really bad. I wouldn't be surprised if you start hearing more about it in Iowa, if you're not hearing about it already. But Ohio's getting hit with it real hard.
That's I didn't know that.
Hear that?
And they have the hurricane stuff happening.
Yeah,
That happened.
Then there's that.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I can do this in a new way. Let me. Yeah, this is interesting.
He's gonna
Ready to
press-
connect.
Oh.
Click connect to show now. You are connected as the host. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface. Audio recording is on. Dual channel.
Sorry about all that awkwardness. I've never done it that way before. That's a
You guys
new
can-
feature.
You guys can join our chat room at hotsexyeric@hotmail.com.
You can call into the show now. The phone line is open. I think Evan just tried.
Yeah.
Try again.
The train is about to come off the tracks right now.
I've never joined via the web before. I didn't know I could do that. That means I can deprecate my Skype number.
I kind of like that little do.
Yeah, that's a new sound. I've never heard that before.
Add it to the board.
Beep.
When we have a good.
You are now
when someone
live
sees
in
a
the
deer, we
host
go,
room.
"Doo-doo-doo."
There's a deer that has shown up. Get off your phone.
You missed it.
Oh, you missed your opportunity. Wrong number. Goodbye. It does that. If you don't put the right number and it like hangs up on you immediately, it's like
Really?
very unforgiving, our call-in system. Oh, there's a caller. Oh, here we go. I thought I had a call button. Oh, we got a caller. Did you hear that? Who is it? Hello, you're live on the show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just trying to get a test run on the old call-in. What's
Oh,
going
yeah,
on,
thanks for the
boys?
test run. We can
Winner,
hear ya.
winner, chicken dinner. How's it going, buddy? Evan Masters, everybody.
I
He
know
was a
last
guest on
time-
the podcast before, and now he's our routine caller.
I was, and I got a bad habit of blabbering on. That's what I did last time, so I won't do it this time, I promise.
No, it's perfect.
I won't. I will hold my breath. Just kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you
That's
do
one
this
of
to
my
yourself?
favorite- Well, it's a great escape. You guys know that, right? From the everyday grind. But it's funny when you were talking about your arrow, after going through all that stuff, all that junk you were crawling through. There's definitely times that you definitely wonder why the heck you're doing what you're doing. But I think it's like anything, whether you get into working out or anything like that, there's a potential great end goal, or whether it's successful hunt by killing something or just seeing some new ground or whatever the heck it is. But definitely sometimes you wonder why the heck you're crawling on your hands and knees, getting everything stuck up, getting stabbed by my beef sticks in the back of the head. Same thing. I might try to grind down those little points.
I know
I'm
you
gonna
said.
try to
I know you said
grind
beast
down the-
sticks, but it sounded like you said beef
Getting
sticks.
poked by beasts.
I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
dude! I didn't
I
like."
get stabbed by my beef sticks sometimes too. I think I got to learn how to make them better.
Well, I guess I make those so pointy.
Nothing like an old beef stick, to the face when I'm going through the woods.
That's what she said.
Can't kill any deer.
Take that where you want it.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. We will do something with it.
License to fly.
It's really
Yeah.
happening. So, how's your season going so far? You having any luck? You getting eyes on anything? We're talking about the October lull and how it's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm actually moving to Oklahoma on Monday, so it's been kind of interesting. Not for good. I'm actually going to learn to fly C-130s. I used to be a Black Hawk pilot, but now I went to the dark side to the Air Force, and I got to go through flight school. So
Nice.
I kind of got like a little bit of early season hunting in, but we're trying to get ready to move all our stuff. So I got 2 cell cameras out, and they kind of dried up, or one of them, I don't know if hasn't really lit up at all. I think it's going to be good maybe later, just kind of learning. And then the other spot was out in the middle of a cornfield, and I'm sure it's similar where you guys are. They're picking some corn. Most of the beans are almost all gone, and I think that spot's just when the corn's in kind of spot. So I hunted it one evening, and didn't see any deer. So not sure what's going on. Feel like I have a lot of options for the next few days, but I'll be back for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I'll try to see what Minnesota. But in the meantime, I'll be trying to figure out what Oklahoma's like, northern Oklahoma.
It could be fun. That'll be fun. You got a lot of new learning
adventure
that you've been doing that you can start to apply and put to good use. And I think that'll be a good exercise for you. I know Derek talks a lot about like there's got to be deer there. My cousin's the same way. He'll speed scout a spot and be like, "Nah, there's nothing here meaningful." Cross it off the list and move on.
But,
and
yeah, and I think it's gonna be kind of fun just to kind of chase. Like, it's easy to get hung up on cameras, I think, and it'll be kind of fun to just try not to. We all talk about this, but it's so easy to put the pressure on yourself. I love social media. I love watching people be successful, see their pictures, but it is easy. I think if you had a little bit of I wouldn't even say competitiveness, but you just want to be successful because of all the work you're putting in. It's easy to kind of be like, dang, what am I doing wrong or whatever. And I think it's easy to get out of that sometimes when you go to a different place that you're not used to and just kind of
you're starting from ground zero again.
Go for it.
Yeah. You can't beat yourself up if you're in a brand new area. It's like I don't have any context here. But no, that's good.
Kind of fun to just have stuff and see what happens.
Yeah, you can't get.
But what about you guys?
You can't get in your head. I
see you found some sheds up north.
Yeah, I couldn't find a deer, but I found a shed. That one has been there for.
That thing was pretty moldy, wasn't it?
I mean, it was under roots. Like I saw a little bone sticking up. I found a guy's glove like 10 feet away. Like an old glove is all chewed up. So I don't know. I found an area.
He probably tripped over the bone and lost his glove.
Damn long branch.
Yeah.
No, I was telling these guys I went for a little scouting trip to a spot I'd never been, and I didn't make it 100 yards off the road, and I found baiting is illegal in that county. And there's a corn pile and 2 cameras, and then a little while later, there's an old stand up there and a mineral lick, which is also illegal. And found the shed not terribly far from there. I did find a nice area back further away from those spots that had a whole bunch of historical rubs in it. And I hung a camera there just to see what's in the area. I don't know if anything will move through there in daylight, but I think a buck will move through there for sure. So no deer for me. I've seen a couple does. That's it. And none that I could shoot. The big doe stayed right underneath my stand the night I had her. She was under me for almost an hour. The little one gave me a shot, but I wasn't going to shoot the little one. So plenty of season left.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Usually Greg's like buried in does by now. I cut you off, I think. My bad. I did it again. Go ahead.
Oh, I do that. I can interrupt my wife when she's not even talking, which is I don't understand.
That's a skill, man. That is a skill.
Did the beginning of my sentence interrupt the middle of yours?
Yeah, I was just saying I've been kind of following all you guys, what's going on a little bit. I mean, I know the season's only been open for a little bit of time, but I think it'll be interesting for everybody just as everyone's learning whatever they're trying to shoot, just the differences from your very early season, because I think all our oaks are pretty much, that was pretty short-lived opportunity, and then kind of figuring out if whatever caliber, whatever you're trying to chase, just trying to, as the season progresses, just kind of figuring out game plans. And I think that, like everyone says all the time, we're always looking for, all of us listeners, a lot of us are looking for recipes. I heard a great quote that everyone's looking for recipes, not philosophies, but philosophies are what make great recipes. It's easy to listen to people and be like, man, just give me the answers, but just getting out there it's just going to be a learning experience.
Where'd you hear that quote? That's a great quote.
That was a guy named, and I don't know if he's the one who's coined it, but a dog trainer named Pat Burns. I think he's from Wisconsin originally, actually, but he does a lot of retriever training, field trials, stuff like that.
That was a good quote. I haven't heard a good quote in a long time. It takes a lot to get me excited about a quote. That was nice.
I think you and I are.
I liked it.
I think you and I are in opposite boats this season
and the
last season.
Yeah.
You have a property you know really well that you hunt continuously, and now it's like a waiting game till the time is right.
Yeah.
I continuously just constantly
explore
explore for new spots. Like I don't ever just like stick to one, which is completely to my detriment, and I'm stupid for doing it, but I just like to go try new shit.
And like that property I know it's going to heat up in a matter of a week or so. It's going to just with the weather we've got coming, we know a lot of that green craft's going to die, but we also know that we're going to have competition.
Pressure is kicking up. We got
there's
trail
gonna-
cams right off the trail.
Yep,
You know,
we've got 2 different guys that I know of for sure that are going to be in there, along with
which can be to your advantage since you have some
Yeah.
communication with them. You can kind of use that
well,
to
I got
like
communication with one. We
Yeah.
don't know what the other one.
find the other guy and write your I shouldn't swear. Write your
Yeah.
phone number on a piece of paper and hold it up in front of this trail cam. And say, text me, dude.
Make sure it's not a spy. Make sure it's not a spy.
And then walk away in your saddle with your badunka bunk and you know,
Yeah, right.
Show them that latitude on the video camera.
hey,
Shake that money maker.
there's a way to make some new friends.
Mhm.
Are you guys using that X-Wing? Any of you?
No,
I wish.
I wish.
No, I Alex is going to be on the show soon, so maybe I'll we bug him for enough stuff. He's been very gracious. He gave us a product for our event. We got outfitted last year. You got a new saddle.
Yep.
So I think his customers come first, and they should. There's a
Yep.
high demand for that product right now, and supply is hard with supply chain stuff and getting product in hand. So I'm not stressing about it.
No.
I
It
would
looks
love
awesome,
to use it,
though.
but
all the reviews I've seen, I liked everything about it.
yeah, they debuted
It's
at
cool.
ATA in January, and I was standing on it at the trade show there in Kentucky, and it's pretty cool. It really is. I'm still rocking I'm using the Lone Wolf Custom Gear saddle platform, the bigger one. I know they have a smaller one, which is what I initially wanted, and I actually think I might prefer the bigger one at this point because you just have with saddle hunting, you can stand on the platform and you can also stand on the edges, all of the edges, and that bigger one gives me so much more surface area for my feet to be like positionally in any strong position to shoot something. It's just a matter of like loosening up that tether, and giving myself some more room to like sprawl out and get an angle on it. But
Mhm.
and then you got to have your knee planted or something like that so you're stable. Otherwise, it's going to fling you around to the wrong side of the tree or something awkward. But
Yep.
which it may have happened. I may have like knocked my noggin on a tree by looping around too fast,
Oh,
just
boy.
trying to experiment. but you're safe. That's it. I'm not going to fall from the tree.
Once Jude gets a little older and grows out of the little crib, you might take that crib mattress, chop it down a little. You got a nice little laying spot. You can lay on that. That's a pretty good sized platform. you got.
Yeah. I've also deemed the saddle as a knapsack. You can just sit in it next to the tree and just you're good. Like you're not going to fall out like in a tree stand. Anywho, tips of the trade. But thanks for calling in, dude. We'll
Cool.
see if we can't get any other.
Good
Yeah, I
luck
don't
with the
wanna-
move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start spreading the word down there. Hey, what's up, guys? You guys ever heard of the OK, son? Up there.
Nice.
If you ever meet someone with one of our
I've been
hats or
talking-
something like that, I would just be like blown away. I'm waiting for that day to happen. I'm also waiting for someone to get a frickin' tattoo of our antler, and it's probably going to be me. I just don't know where to get it.
It'll happen.
I think that antler would
Yeah.
make
Are
a
you,
great
are you
tattoo.
going to add it to your tramp stamp?
I don't have a tramp stamp. Maybe I
One
will
on
now.
each side could look cool.
But then I'd have to do the whole
Is that
thing.
what Everton?
If I did a tramp stamp, I would do the
I'll spread
full
the good
OK
one.
Hunter logo. But
Okay.
I think I just want the antler. I'm like, but like, what do you get on your shoulder? Is that stupid? On your wrist? What do you do with this kind of little
You have
antler?
big shoulders or little shoulders?
Yeah. Anyway, we've had people said they would do it, and I haven't seen it happen yet. I'm waiting. I'm not going to give you anything.
High five, handshake.
Yeah.
maybe?
Case of beer. I don't know.
Case of beer. All right.
Want some Bush?
No,
Here.
no, I'm
Don't
interested.
get your release.
Yeah, there you go.
That's probably a good tattoo. Right on your wrist. Don't forget on your left hand where you're holding your bow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't forget my release.
So
Okay.
nobody else has heard this,
That's
but
your sticker.
these guys did. Yeah, the sticker, Evan. So I got way back into a spot where I've been a new property, of course, where I've been hunting 2 really nice bucks. And I got back in. I found this scrape that I scouted this summer that's tore up. There's fresh rubs by it. So I set up. I'm sending these guys pictures of the scrape and stuff. It's like, oh man, it looks good. I get to the tree, up in the tree, and I'm like, camera set up, bow is on the hanger. I'm looking for my release, and it's not in the pocket where I normally put it. Neither is my rangefinder. And I shot the night before, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot my release. I'm sitting over the scrape, and it looks so good. And I'm sitting there, I'm texting the guys, yep, totally did it. Forgot the release. Like, what an idiot. Looks like it's going to be fingers tonight. And I was like, I should check one more time. And I checked again, and there's like a zipper pocket with that little false fabric,
Mhm.
and it was behind there. So thank God I had it.
You didn't forget it.
So
You
that
just
way I could
misplaced
shoot
it.
nothing because I shot nothing. I saw nothing.
Yeah, I've sold a couple of things of hunting clothing that I'm getting rid of, and I had a bunch of stickers from you, Eric, from Pennsylvania. So I
Did I bring
I
stickers?
donated
Oh,
a
good.
few, and
Yeah.
oh heck yeah! So I've added a sticker to my Facebook Marketplace sales, so people can hopefully find you guys.
Oh,
Nice.
hey, that's fun.
If they're-
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, cool guys. I appreciate it. I'll keep listening. Hopefully, get some more good calls and not kind of
Cool.
my kind of crap.
Yeah, we'll get a better one than this.
But
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
good
Thanks, Evan. We appreciate
Thanks,
you,
Evan.
man.
We
Hey, good luck
appreciate you,
in
buddy.
Oklahoma, buddy.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thanks, boys. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. So comments. Kennedy Sparling. I'm from South Dakota and truly believe that the older, more mature bucks don't move during the cold fronts like you would expect. I just shot a full velvet 160-inch buck this year. We could never get him patterned. I can actually say I would agree with that because wide load buck, we know that's an older buck. September 23rd, a couple years ago, it was warm that day. Here he is at 5 o'clock on the camera. I have photo proof of it. Just why is he there? Don't know. Was there hunting pressure back in his bedding area? Highly doubt it. What drove him to go there? Don't know. So they are hard to pattern.
Well, Spartan Forge, when we had Bill on, he talked about some like myth busting things because he has so much data to chew on from all these collared deer studies. And I think you probably learned this from like looking at some of the MSU Deer Lab or whatever. You'll see some of that. And Southern, what's the podcast of Southern Outdoorsman? They do a lot of that type of stuff too, like
Southern
movement.
Ground or
Not Southern Ground, Southern Outdoorsman.
Okay.
Southern Ground is like kayak stuff.
Yep.
All good. But Bill had said with Spartan Forge, some of these bucks don't even really participate in the first rut, and they just sit it out because it's not even worth their time to risk getting shot. And they said they'll just lay on like, and in this case, maybe in a swamper, but like maybe on like a ridge that's pretty steep, and they'll just be there in that little home base the whole season. And the tracking color data shows that these guys aren't even moving and participating.
Older deer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just interesting, right? There's just some things like in nuggets like that they've collected with all the data that they can see. Now, is that true for everything? No, but your old wide load and the one that they're talking about here, when you say it's hard to pattern them, maybe they're just not as patternable.
I think I'm making some jumps here, but like what Kennedy just said, South Dakota, and if you've watched the Whitetail Adrenaline stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Jared and those guys say it all the time when they're hunting open states.
Mhm.
Kansas.
What do you mean open, like wide open terrain?
Open
Yeah.
prairie grass. They always say those bucks don't move when it's real cold out. Cold fronts,
Nope.
they don't move.
Nope.
Why?
They've always
Why?
said that. I
Do
don't
we know
know.
why? Like, what
But-
are some
But I
assumptions?
think it has to do with like if Kennedy's in South Dakota and she's seeing the same thing. I think it has to do with open terrain for some reason. Because but in Wisconsin and like anywhere that has vast deciduous forest,
Deciduous?
deciduous,
What's that mean?
Deciduous.
leafy trees,
Leafy trees.
All right, thanks.
non-coniferous.
Okay, Hunter.
Okay.
Wow.
But
Learn something.
I think where there's lots of tree cover, I think it's the opposite. I think they do move better when it's cold, from what I've noticed. And then like Steve Shirk just on Exodus Outdoor,
Uh-huh.
their big podcast, he had that whole 3-year trail cam study, and it was only related basically to temperature. He had more daylight photos of mature bucks when the temperature was colder.
Colder.
He's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, then there's down south. Jared Norwood's a good friend of ours, and he's in Arkansas, so hot most of the time. And cold fronts, hot. It's different. Different parts of the country, you're going to see different behavior out of different temperature fluctuations. So maybe your point about like wooded versus open, hot versus cold. If it's always hot, and then it's cold one day, maybe those bucks in Arkansas aren't moving because they're like, this is not what we like. Versus the heat, maybe they're like more. I don't freaking know. I'm making shit up here, but he has been on the show and talked about it's almost opposite of what you would normally expect, which is why like Southern Outdoorsman podcast has an audience that is from the South because their tactics are different than our tactics.
Mhm.
Like, plus those guys have accents and they're really fun to listen to.
Maybe early season, it's not as big a deal. But like our deer here and where Jace is from, northern Minnesota, like when they get their winter coat, like they're prepared to withstand horribly cold temperatures, like, right?
Yeah, so
would
that's
you
like
wanna
putting a
get
bunch of
up when
sweaters
it's
on.
60
Yeah.
degrees and walk around and make scrapes. Like, no, they're going to wait and conserve their energy till it's nighttime
Mhm.
and cooler. Like, so I think a lot of it is where they are geographically, north, south. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
You get your 2 cents is worth more than 2 cents around here,
Might
buddy.
be worth $2.
2.5 cents.
$3. I don't know.
I don't think it's been posted yet, but you had your article about like myth busting nocturnal.
I actually canceled that since I haven't seen any bucks. I think they are nocturnal.
Right.
They've all gone nocturnal.
Retracting that article.
I don't know. That's gonna probably see the light of day at some point here pretty soon. It's a big one.
Just joking.
Or as my son Dane would say, big one. Yeah.
Chris Whitley.
Chris, you want to call in? Phone lines are hot.
I have called my boss, who's a fellow hunter, to tell him I needed to take the day off just because a crazy cold day was forecasted, and killed my target buck on 2 different occasions.
There you go. So when there's a cold front, tell your boss you're not going to be into work.
So I think the safest thing to do is you hunt all the cold fronts and you hunt all the warm fronts, and just to cover all your bases.
just hunt it all.
You hunt it all.
You hunt
just
when
to
you
be
can.
sure.
I put a post on.
But that's really the thing, right? Like all these apps that predict movement, the red moon, this cold fronts. Hunt when you can.
That's it. You got to be in
go to the woods.
A buddy of mine built an app called Hunt Wisconsin, which I use because it's really good, effective tool for aggregating DNR information. The DNR has an open API on their site because they're a public entity, right? We pay taxes for the DNR. Yeah. So nothing is private. So you can hit their web proxy servers and pull data from them. You should probably tell them because you could like really slow down their technology. They would appreciate it. I've had these conversations. And, but in pulling and extracting that, like I look at sunset, sunrise, sunset, last light, first light, last light. It pulls that, but it also pulls like this, the harvest data. So his app will say like, this is a good time to kill a deer. Well, no, that just means that's when people do kill deer.
Which is probably on the weekend.
Which is probably the weekends and the cold fronts and gun seasons because everyone's hunting. But again, that hunting pressure component, I think is just super valuable. Like knowing how to evade that. Like parking lots are going to start to fill up on public properties. Sides of roads are going to you're going to see trucks. When we went out, we saw a bunch of trucks. I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of people out here ready.
All over the
place. It was the first freaking weekend. What wasn't it the first weekend?
Yeah, it was opening.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it.
It was also squirrel hunting too. That opened. So
interesting.
But how many gunshots did you hear when you were out in the woods?
We saw guys getting out with climbers.
Yeah.
A couple of trucks. But I mean, there's definitely squirrel hunters.
We got another caller. Which one is it? This one? No, this one.
That one.
Oh, it's Kennedy. All right. Hey, Kennedy, you're live on the OK Center podcast. Thanks for calling in. What do you got going on?
Oh, not much. I was just calling. I had commented and you guys were talking. But of course, it only lets you type so much in your comments. So I was just calling to say this buck that I did shoot this year.
Congratulations.
He was shot last year.
Yeah, 160. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And
that's
in
awesome.
Velvet, that's a dream buck for a lot of people.
You know, and that's what I've been hearing. I mean, full velvet. I mean, you don't get that very often where it's completely full. We did have him on camera for quite a while, and you'd get him from about any time from about 10 o'clock in the morning till about anywhere from 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then he'd just go ghost mode until about 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Now, the weird thing to me is he was shot last year. He was shot once, and then, of course, I was wondering if he would even lose his velvet. That was kind of a conversation that we had, and I don't know if it's common over in Wisconsin or not. If you get an injured buck or it's shot or anything like that, it either starts growing goofy stuff or sometimes in the case it won't even shed velvet.
Yeah.
And we were getting kind of to the point where everything had shed. So yeah, I was just going to ask you guys, in your opinion, if everything had mostly shed so far. And I mean, for the size of him, I would have thought that he would have been one of the first ones to shed.
Totally.
And I know every one of them sheds at different times, but
I'm pointing the camera at these two guys. I'm not answering that question.
No, I agree with you. And that's kind of common. I think anywhere in the whitetail woods, no matter what region you're in, if there's some sort of injury sustained, like that big crazy heavy rack 8-pointer that I kept, or it might have been a 9.
Yeah, that was running around by
That was running around by me all January and February. Heavy horn deer, and on one of his beams, and I think it was his G2, he still had velvet on there. Why he had it on there is no idea. And the neighbor found his antlers, and yeah, it's got velvet on it.
His shed antler.
Yeah, he found both sides. So to your point, yeah, that deer may have sustained some sort of injury, whether it was hit by a car or by another hunter with, a bullet or an arrow. It does weird things to their chemical makeup, and either they start growing some oddly shaped antlers, or they hold on to velvet or something else.
It's not aliens.
I've never had an encounter with that where they get injured and hold their velvet. I've actually never had any buck on like cameras or that I knew of that held its velvet longer than September. But the weird wonky, you get hit on your right side, left antler grows wonky. I've seen that plenty.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that about the velvet. I didn't know that they didn't.
Yeah, I never. That's really cool to hear.
That's interesting.
Wow, we learned something new today.
So you just shot that buck, Kennedy, like this last weekend, or?
I shot it actually, let me see. It's horrible that I don't even know the date.
It's a blur.
I think that it was one of the most exciting trips of my life, so I would know that. It was September 10th is when I shot it.
Yeah, so our deer, your deer too, would be probably, there's going to be a few young ones running around with velvet
That's
on
about
yet.
the cusp,
but around
usually.
the 9th, I usually see most of the bigger deer I get on camera. They're done with velvet. They're long gone.
And you're in South Dakota, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And I thought the weirdest thing was we had been pattering him, of course, during the day and at night, but I couldn't get him ever at a good time. And here it opens, bow opens September 1st. So we were, of course, scrambling, and then he went ghost mode. So I'm like, okay, he did this last year. He went ghost mode, and then he ended up 3 miles north on one of our quarters that we finally were getting them up there. Well, I don't know if it was pressure. Obviously, he goes ghost when they shed velvet usually.
Mm-hmm.
But we just could not figure him out. So I just assumed, okay, well, he's headed north again. They usually follow their same patterns unless it's rut. So I was kind of hoping he would show up there. And then all of a sudden, of course, this is our luck. This is the funny of the night. I got engaged in July. So we're at a church meeting our sponsors, and we have cell cams. And we're at supper with our sponsors, and all of a sudden, I get a ding on my phone, and I look down, and I'm like, motherfucker. I look over at my fiance, and he's like, not now. I'm like, dang it.
We gotta go. Hey guys, we gotta wrap this up.
Go now.
Yeah.
Can we here's this to go?
Here's
Well, don't worry, we're gonna be married
Enjoy
forever.
yourselves.
Yeah.
We did that when we got married too. We had to do like meet our sponsor couple and
that's
stuff.
awesome.
If that would happen to me, I would have been looked at like you guys are getting divorced.
So, of course, we get out to the vehicle, and after we get out, we get to the vehicle, I open my phone, and I'm like, oh my God, I fucked up.
It's a sign.
Married is the worst decision.
That's a
I was
benchmark.
like, dang it, why did you have to do this today? So, of course, then he's like, you have to go sit tomorrow. I'm like, well, no shit.
What a supportive future husband.
Captain Obvious.
Yep. It's happening.
I know. I was like, well, hopefully he'll be there tomorrow. And sure enough, he did the complete opposite. So when we got a picture of him, it was last light. So, and that was the day before. The day I went and shot him, he stood up at 6:20, did a couple circles, laid back down. 20 minutes later, stood up, and I shot him broadside at 20 yards. And it was just, it was crazy. But of course, that would have to happen. I'm like, this is just our luck.
That's really cool. Kennedy, were you close to like cover where he lived, or were you close to a food source, or was he bedding in a food source? What was going on?
So a lot of, at that time, in South Dakota, I'm a farmer. So, and I actually was hunting on the quarter that I own, and right across the section line from mine, there's a lot of green soybeans yet. Well, at that point, a lot of fields were turning, and they were turning yellow. Well, a lot of the times deer don't like to be in yellow soybeans that much, because once they start turning, I don't know why, they just turn away from the soybeans. Well, that field was completely green yet, hadn't even started turning. And I was like, well, maybe he is in there. So he stood up 97 yards from my stand. Of course, I'm glassing a couple bucks a mile and a half away. And I was texting my fiance. I'm like, I said, there's a couple little bucks further away. Maybe he's out there. And of course, I put my binoculars down, and he stands up 97 yards away from me. And yeah. Well, and of course, our farmhand, he goes, he goes, once you see him and you know it's him, don't look at his horns. I'm like, oh yeah, well that's pretty easy because
That's like
the
saying don't look down.
soybeans
Yeah.
cover his back. So all you can fucking see is his horns. Of course, then I'm taking in the street. Don't look at his horns. All you can see are his freaking horns.
That's awesome.
This is epic. You're awesome. Thank you
That's
so
a
much for
cool
calling
story.
in.
Of course. Well, I appreciate you guys picking up, and I will. I'll shoot you a picture.
Yeah, thank you.
Please.
Shooter Buck Club. If you're
I'll-
part of that, yeah,
I'll
post.
shoot you a picture on your TikTok, or
There
that's
you go.
I guess how I found you guys.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah,
I
we're
don't know
everywhere.
where you guys
We're
want it, but
Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube, and you can find us all over the place.
Thanks
So
for sharing your story. That
Yes,
was
thank
awesome.
you. It was great.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Adios.
you too.
Thank you.
Dang, that's cool.
we got two more in queue. We'll bring them in, and we'll try to keep it short because I know we're getting late. But this stuff is so fun.
Dude, we're good.
And this is the-
No,
you guys
I'm-
are good?
I'm not worried. I'm good.
All right. If you say you're not worried, who do we got here? You're live on the show, Calder. Congratulations, buddy.
Yes.
Guys, thank you. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Not as good as
Awesome.
you,
Not as
buddy.
good as you. Let's hear the story.
Did you share that freaking buck photo anywhere else other than my direct message to the channel?
I haven't. I'll tell you what, I'm still riding Cloud 9. That's the first year I've shot with a bow, and I'm hooked. You guys got me hooked on it. And,
No other feeling, man.
Cool.
I just want to give you guys a quick shout out here for, like I said in the direct message there, giving me the encouragement and kind of taking away my apprehension for shooting something small or just shooting something that's a trophy to me. And like I said, it's meeting the freezer for my family, and that's why I hunt a lot. I hunt in a lot of pressured areas, and stuff gets taken pretty young around me. So I'm not really into the shooting or, tracking specific bucks or whatnot. But yeah, I was just looking at the heading of the title here, and I commented in and said there's two types of fun. There's roller coaster fun, which you're having a blast while you're doing it. And then there's hunting fun, which is most of the time miserable and it sucks and you're wondering why you do it, but you remember it for a lifetime. But
That's
I'll,
exactly
like I
right.
said, I'll keep it short and sweet. Just got a couple other callers, but just wanted to say thanks again for all your encouragement, everything you guys do for us OKS hunters out there, and keep up the good work.
Hey, don't be
Thank
afraid
you.
to post the hell out of that picture.
Yeah,
Be
dude,
it is-
proud of it.
Yep,
Be
yep.
proud of
Tag
it.
us in
You're
it,
on
and we'll
Facebook.
share it.
It's a
And
hell of an
on the Shooter Buck
accomplishment.
Club.
we
Tag us in
because
it.
now you're going to be a beacon for someone else.
Yep.
And that's just how it works. We got to keep spreading it out there. So enjoy that. And anyone that's got anything negative to say, that's their problem, not yours.
Yep.
So don't worry about it.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a
Cheers,
good
buddy.
rest of your night.
You too,
Yeah,
man.
You too.
He's gonna be eating good.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yep.
That's
So good.
that's a great call. Who do we got? I'll do the thing. Was it the green one, Derek?
Yep.
How do you have a memory like that? Oh, we got another caller. You hear that?
Such a dork.
I gotta push my buttons. It's fun. You push my buttons all the time.
You
I
get
know.
mad when we push your buttons. No,
Yeah.
you don't. He's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool.
You're live on the show. Welcome. How's it going?
Hey, this Chris Whitley. How you guys doing?
Hey, Chris.
Hey,
what do you
Chris.
know?
My other favorite Southern accent, Chris Whitley. Welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, my story's not going to be near as fascinating as the previous two callers you've had. Those are pretty awesome. But the one lady that was talking about the deer holding velvet reminded me of a buck we had, and we didn't kill this deer, but we had pictures of him on up into late October. And we nicknamed him the Freak because his rack was crazy looking, but he held on to his velvet that long. And we started looking it up, and there is a condition that I cannot pronounce. You guys can look it up. It's crypto something. Where
Bucks that buy cryptocurrency?
It's like a hormone thing, or yeah, kind of like that, but yeah, not as valuable probably.
We'll have to get the hunt critic
Probably
to.
more valuable.
We got to get Josh Morrow, the hunt critic, over on TikTok to talk about this. He'll do it. And just so people know, you're out of North Carolina, right?
Yes, North Carolina. And so this buck had ridiculous mass on his bases. And when you look this up, that's one of the conditions. Their horns never harden. They stay in a constant state of velvet, and they continuously grow.
Do you call
But
those
they
chubby
don't grow
bucks?
like time length and main beam. So they just, a lot of times they just pack on mass.
Interesting.
And so, but we had one of those, like I said, we had a buck. It was all through September, October. It just never shed, and then it disappeared. And I don't know that anybody ever killed it, because we figured if somebody killed that thing, that you'd hear about it. But yeah, again, that was the only time we'd seen it, but it was enough that we looked it up, and it's actually a condition where bucks will not shed. And what sucks about it too is if you do kill, there's stories of people who've killed deer like that, and the horns never harden, so they kind of just deteriorate really quickly after you kill it, because you killed the blood flow to the antlers. So, but it's pretty interesting. You can look that up.
And that
Crypto
grows
something. But
yearly,
yeah, just look
right?
up condition where antlers never harden.
Okay.
So they're always in a state of growth the entire year, every year of the deer's life.
Call that a chubby horn buck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not growing into like a world record type thing. Because again, it's not packing on like a normal deer would, like time length and stuff like that.
They
a lot of times it said one of the conditions was just, it'd be like a non-typical, or just this buck we had, it had a decent rack. And for North Carolina, it was probably, it was a big bodied deer, and it'd probably go in the 115 or something. But just by the base, like the frame looked like about 115-inch deer, but the bases looked like Coke cans are bigger on it. It was just ridiculous mass on it.
That's cool. Fascinating. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. We're learning new stuff tonight.
The only other time I've ever heard of deer not shedding their velvet is when you come like the hermaphrodite deer, or a deer who's had injury to his testicles and is having testosterone issues. Sometimes those won't shed, like an antlered doe won't shed its won't rub its velvet off, or if they have injury to the boys.
Mike Zappa in the comments just said my quote unquote buck from, and he's saying that intentionally, you'll see why. My quote unquote buck from last year had an injured leg. He looked like an old deer, but didn't have antlers. He just had these giant nubs where his antlers should have been, and it was just a bunch of spurs on him. So this is interesting. This is an interesting topic that we kind of tripped into here, guys.
I can take a swing at
how I've heard of
pronounce it.
Go for it. Let's hear how this goes.
Cryptorchidism.
Can you make it say it? Sometimes you can make it say it. Is there like did you figure out what's it called? Where are you seeing it here?
Read right there.
Oh, you got it. Let's see here. Here we go. Let's see if ready, guys? Ready for the Cryptorchidism.
There you go.
Cryptorchidism. Oh, classic cryptorchidism.
Yeah, it's a classic case of cryptorchidism.
Classic case.
I've seen it 1,000 times.
I've seen it 1,000 times. This guy's not going to get hard antlers, guys. It's just it's going to be the season.
What Mike said, I've seen guys who had trail camera pictures of deer like that. Look like big, huge 5-6-year-old deer, and they just have like these bases that almost look like little starfish. There's got all these weird little points sticking out, and the buck looks huge. And they just got. Did he break both the antlers off? It must have been what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly what Mike had.
Interesting. Ben, to answer your question, Greg and I.
And like somebody said, I think that's a testosterone type thing too, because it's similar. I've heard of deer like jump barbed wire fence and catch their testicles, as bad as that sounds on it, and kind of rip them off. But it throws off their testosterone imbalance. Yeah, and so I think that's the same thing that disease does, or whatever that condition or whatever it is. I think it's just a kind of a hormone or testosterone type thing. So, anyway,
it's
I'll let you guys go. I'll keep it short.
No, thanks, Chris. We appreciate it. We appreciate you calling in, buddy. It's always good to hear from you.
Good luck this season, Chris.
Yeah, good to hear from you guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Ranella just posted. I don't know if it was Meat Eater or Ranella, but posted some sort of the antler. Who's it? This super nerdy dude that gets really nerded out about antler growth. There's some studies where they were putting like allegedly, from what I saw, and I didn't read anything scholarly. I didn't go deeper because I'm
lead weights in the antler.
No, not that one.
Not the walleye scandal.
Not the walleye scandal. But
it's everywhere.
Antler growth grows faster than cancer cells. It's the fastest growing thing. And
Renella's
so they're like,
new podcast has got that.
Yeah, they were talking about how they were putting it into like naked rats.
Naked mice.
Thank you. And like these mice were getting fucking horn on their head. And I don't know what they're just trying to study this stuff.
It looked like a mohawk on a
it's pretty weird.
Like a pretty big rack. Or
and this is how we got to the jackalope, guys.
Boone and Crockett mice, for sure.
The jackalope is going to be real. I want a jackalope in
It's
here.
going to be an
Can someone make us a jackalope,
experiment.
please? Do we have any listeners that can just do
There's,
some
there's plenty of them.
taxidermist?
You just wander out to South Dakota. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
You'll find them on walls and barns and
I wonder
running
if
all over.
Kennedy's 160 was actually jackalope.
Could have been.
Okay, Hunter was almost jackalope outdoors.
Really?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Yep, Jim Heffelfinger. Jim Heffelfinger. That's the guy. He was actually at.
Yeah, thank you.
He was at.
I think he's like approachable. We could probably get him on our show.
He was at the BHA event with Doug Duran.
Yeah,
he was there.
Well, I think Doug told me I should talk to him at some
Mhm.
point. So I think I might have his contact info.
That we were at?
Yes.
Oh.
Maybe I'll talk to
He
Doug.
goes by. I think he was going by Jim Deere on Instagram, and now he's got a different Instagram or something like that.
Joel's
But-
over here telling himself jokes in the comment section. Good job,
boy.
Joel.
Ben had a question about types of site we use. I mean, all three of us are using a similar site. It's an adjustable single pin.
Yeah.
I
got
you
the
got a Spot
HHA.
Hog,
You got
Fast
Spot Hog.
Eddie. We're running a Tetra by HHA.
Yeah. And I like it.
Yep.
It's a
Works
no-brainer kind of site. You spin the dial to the range you need, and it works. You saw me at the range at the Bowman.
Yep.
Horicon Marsh Bowman Archery Range, and I was
Foam Fest.
yeah, he's doing all right there with that. I didn't lose any arrows there.
We just, I like what you brought up today. You and Tyler were in our group chat shooting a couple arrows, and you said, "Hey, we should do a 3 arrow a day challenge just to keep ourselves
Yeah,
honest."
if we can either do it in the morning before we leave for work or catch it in the evening.
I think with most people,
Oh.
like this is the worst time of year for me.
It is.
Because every minute that I'm not doing my home family, like I want to be in the woods, and my bow gets neglected. I don't practice nearly as much as I should.
Yeah.
It's like once a week, maybe, when I should be shooting every day.
And you guys fully well know my bow is getting the hell beat out of it this year.
Why is that?
Gee, I
Why
wonder.
are you mad at it?
I'm so
What
mad
did that
at
thing
it.
do to you? You really do want to know
Yeah.
it.
No, don't.
You do.
But for me, it's
Subconscious.
good to be able to go and shoot it, because it did get dropped out of a tree from 15 feet up. Came up smelling like a rose, no problem.
What's that? Oh no! Oh no! that yeah.
Oh no.
Should
Well,
have
I
done
saw
that.
the arrow landing.
Oh, yeah.
Laying in the tree.
It's laying there like
and I
I
was
could have
like,
reached
well,
down
yeah,
and picked
I
it up.
dropped an arrow.
Yeah.
But then you were like, the bow is somewhere
I'll-
underneath.
Yeah, it's
I'll-
long gone.
Nomadic outdoorsman Dan Matthews got a nice buck.
Yes, he
Awesome.
did. And a doe. He doubled up.
He doubled up. So I'm really excited to hear how that went for him. It was pretty cool.
Unfortunately, he had some recording issues with his camera, the way it
Yeah.
sounded, which was a bummer. But
His wife was making fun of it, fun of him for that.
Mhm.
Right when my wife was making fun of me for telling her how I'm going to try to hunt deer, I was like, what's going on here? You guys. Anyway, I'm going to answer one question from TikTok, and then we're going to pull a plug on this whole thing and call it a night, I think. And the question from TikTok was, how have you ever had an issue when needing to, if I could read, words are hard.
You can do it, Eric. I believe.
Have you ever had an issue when needing to adjust for a fast approaching animal with your single pin when needing to adjust the dial?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
But that's why you range everything ahead of time. And
Yeah.
you range it 1,000 times because you keep forgetting what you just ranged.
And the biggest thing with the single pin is shoot your, like, say, call it your 30 adjustment. Your 30.
Mhm.
Shoot it at 20. Shoot it at 40. Shoot it everywhere in between. Shoot it a lot so you know how high to hold if that deer's coming closer. So you range 30. Deer's at 30. You draw back. Your pin's at 30. Deer starts coming toward you. If you practice using your 30-yard pin
Yep.
at 20 yards, I hold the top
That's-
of the back.
Oh, that's
I hold
terrifying.
bottom of the belly.
I'm going to lose arrows.
It's scary. Well, yeah, but
yeah. But
you should
you're
know
going to
the
be mad
flight-
that you didn't
it's
take
gonna
the
help
shot
you
at
figure
all.
out
And
the
when you're-
flight of your arrow.
And when you're sighting in your rifle, it's opposite with a bow of what you do with your rifle, right? With your bow, if you want to shoot up, you have to adjust up, right?
You follow your arrow.
Yeah, but this is confusing for me. I have a hard time with this
So
concept.
if you're shooting low, you adjust
'Cause I
the
was all
sight
rifle,
low.
rifle, rifle for
over
years.
there, if you adjust it low, your
Talk
aim.
through this differently because no one can see your hands.
How do you want me to explain this?
I don't know. I'm waiting for you to explain it so people can
Okay.
understand
Really
it
excited
verbally.
to see
You
your
can't use your
result.
hands.
Can I
No one
see
can
it?
see. It's a
Tell
podcast.
me
All
your
right.
visualization.
My visualization is
My hand
this.
is coming up.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm
Forget
like,
it. I'm done.
look. If you're shooting low, what do
just-
you do to adjust your sight? I shot low
Raise
of the target. What do I
Raise it
do?
high.
Then I what?
Higher.
Then I raise my bow higher.
You have to raise your bow higher.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
raise your bow higher by adjusting your
So if
sight
that buck is
lower.
coming in
Comes lower.
closer,
Yeah.
then what are you doing on a 30 pin sight when he's 20?
So think about which way your pin slides, right?
And you can't use
If
your
you
hands,
slide
Derek.
your pin
no
down-
hands, Derek.
If you slide your pin down to shoot further, you need to aim lower.
See?
You just got to think about the movement of your pin.
Mhm.
Like when you shoot further distances, you're moving your sight down, bringing your arrow up.
Yep.
Right. So when a deer comes closer and your arrow's up, you got to aim lower.
Yeah, you're arcing
So
your
if
bow
you're at 30,
higher.
you want to aim
Yeah.
at the bottom of the belly because
Oh, I
you're going to
do
shoot
too.
high.
Not high. Not that high.
Well,
You're-
yeah,
you're
I'm
shooting
just
over
thinking
the
like
back for
Robin Hood
sure.
shooting at that like guy on the beach.
Most of the time, what I do is I draw back, I close my eyes, and I just fucking
Just send it.
Yeah, I just use target
Send it.
panic.
Just
That's
gonna
what I
send
do.
it.
send it.
How do you shoot deer? I panic at the target.
Was it a buck? I'm not sure.
I don't met him. I just let it rip.
Black
Anyway,
out and
good question, dude. That was a good question. Thanks. Appreciate that. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks, everybody.
And we're out.
Have a good night or day or whatever you're doing. Adios.
That was so abrupt.